His wife charged him with assault.
I spent 10 months in jail based on a false charge from Deborah.
When he got out,
The police put me in handcuffs and arrested me.
he got his revenge and then disappeared.
He apparently had gone to Alaska and was working on a crab boat. You get these emails saying he's drowned, and then 2 weeks later you get a phone call saying,
I'm not dead.
It was all planned so that he would not have to appear in court.
Today on Dr. Phil, a dead husband returns
you filed a false police report to get her arrested.
I did.
and a real mystery unfolds.
Did you fake your death?
No, I did not.
Were you in Alaska?
Yeah, absolutely, I was in Alaska.
So many questions.
How long did you work up there?
I was a few weeks.
How'd you get back?
I think I came back into Seattle.
So many twists.
Do you remember borrowing $160 from your boss?
I do.
How could you be in South Carolina depositing this man's check if you're getting killed up in Alaska?
The truth
You have emotionally devastated me.
and the lies
Tell me the truth. You were never in Alaska, right?
will all come out.
I am going to ask the questions till I get the answers because I think you deserve the truth.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I know things are tough out there, but we can do this. If it matters to you, that's what I want to talk about.
10 seconds to air.
Well, thank you. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Ready, camera 5.
3, take track.
Go, Dr. Phil. Let's do it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is there that person in your life that you would really like to stick it to? Yeah, I know you say that. Well, if you're thinking about revenge, I really want you to watch this show. Because at the end, I'm going to ask you if you've changed your mind at all. Because the story you're going to see today is not for the faint of heart. Now, Deborah finally admitted to me on this stage that she did embellish the truth in an act of revenge. Take a look at this.
I spent 10 months in jail, 282 days for assault based on a charge from Deborah that I had pushed her. This was a totally false charge. There was no truth to it whatsoever.
What do you say about all of this?
Todd hurt me really badly in our marriage and our relationship, and he did a lot of extremely hurtful things.
Did you file a false police report to put this guy in jail?
No,
Yes, she did.
Did you or did you not misrepresent what happened to the police?
there was absolutely assault.
If there would have been physical signs of assault, I would have been taken into custody the night she said it happened. I never touched her with my hands, pushed her with my hands. I never threw her on the floor. I mean, that did not happen.
Show me what you're talking about. I'm standing in the door.
All I did
She's
is
blocking you like
and
this?
I pushed through like this, and that's what I did. She infuriated me by what she did to me. Right now, I have thoughts of revenge against her, and I can't get rid of them. I think it would be a good idea if she spent 30 or 45 days in jail for what she did to me.
Did you make statements that weren't true?
I may have said that there was punching or hitting, and there was not that to my recollection.
Well, you
but
didn't
there was.
maybe say it. You either said it or you didn't. You either said he hit me and punched me or you didn't. Did you
I
say
did.
it? You did.
I did.
And did he hit you and punch you?
No.
So you made a conscious decision to embellish the story.
Yes.
Y'all have a toxic dynamic here. You have no business being married. You're going to hurt one another, or or something bad's going to happen here. Well, based on the comments you left on our message boards, and boy, did you leave a lot of them, you were completely outraged. Lana wrote, "Every time someone like Deborah lies, it discourages authorities out there from believing the true victims." Jill said this woman should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And Divine said, "I am appalled that Deborah has gotten away with lying about being abused. I can't believe she wasn't arrested on the stage." Todd spoke openly on the show about wanting to get revenge against Deborah. Well, guess what? He got his wish. Just a few days after the show, Deborah was arrested for criminal domestic violence of a high and aggravated nature.
Immediately following the show, my impression was that we were going to try to work things out. I don't know what happened. Everything just fell apart. He became verbally abusive. He becomes very aggressive. And he taunts and he wants to start an argument. He was taking my phone that he had been using and sort of putting it in my face and saying, well, why don't you call the police? Why don't you call the police? Then I just took it from him. I just wanted to be away from the situation. So I left. When I got back to the house, Todd asked me to give him back the cell phone. And I said, no, that's my phone. You know, I'm not giving it back. And he got very angry. And he said, if you don't return the phone, I have a felony warrant out for your arrest. I'll call the police and have them come pick you up. And I thought, okay, whatever. It's just, he's just talking. The door opens up and 4 police officers come rushing through my house, put me in handcuffs, very, very forceful. You're in denial. It's like, this is not really happening, but it is. I spent one night in jail. They gave me an orange suit. They had shackles on my feet. My hands were in handcuffs. I had chains around my waist. And it was absolutely just the worst experience I've ever had to go through. The day of the court hearing, the thing that was disturbing to me was the fact that when he left the courtroom, he was whistling. I did believe that this was revenge, totally.
Now, we got a copy of Deborah's arrest warrant, and it read the following. Defendant did cut victim on the arm with a knife, causing painful injury. Victim did require emergency medical treatment. The acts of the accused constitute criminal domestic violence of a high and aggravated nature. You've known me long enough to know I'm going to get to the bottom line.
Yes, I believe
Right?
you will.
And I'm asking you now, let's just save a lot of time. Did you pull a knife on him?
I absolutely did not.
Not sorta, not kinda, not on a different day. You didn't pull a knife on him.
I never did.
You did not cut his arm.
I did not cut his arm.
Did you cut his arm with anything? Not a
I
knife.
did not attempt to touch him. I did not with my hand or a knife or a fork or a spoon or anything else.
Okay, let's fast forward to the chase scene here.
Okay. So what happened was he was trying to agitate me and get me aggravated and get into an argument, which is what he does when he's in that state.
Okay, and?
He was arguing with me to give me back what he calls his cell phone, which is really my phone that I was letting him borrow. And he said if I didn't give him the phone back, there was a felony warrant out for my arrest, that he was going to call the police and have them come pick me up. I attributed that to more of his lying babble, what he always does when he's drunk.
And he did.
And he left the house and came back, and the police came in and arrested me.
They put the cuffs on you. They take you down, put you in jail.
Yep.
Okay, then, in a very strange twist of events, Deborah received this awful text about her husband. I am guessing you are his wife, but Todd died last night. This number was left via his note. He wants you to call his uncle. You didn't want him to be dead, right?
No, I didn't want him to
Okay.
be.
You didn't attack him. You didn't cut him.
No.
You guys are having trouble, but you didn't want to see him dead.
No.
You had to be very upset
I was very
to
upset.
learn of his death.
I was mortified.
Then Deborah received this email, which included a picture of Todd before he drowned. It said, I forgot to answer your question about how Todd died. He drowned. A crab pot knocked him overboard, and by the time he was brought back, he was gone. You have to know that at least 300 people a year die doing this. Now, it says, look at the picture. Todd was the second guy from the left. We have cameras on ship. I can't talk with you anymore. I'm illegal from Ireland and need the work. I liked your husband. He made me laugh. So is Todd dead? Well, I said there was a twist. Deborah then received this voicemail 2 weeks later.
Listen, I'm trying to catch up on everything. I have this idiot guy that apparently sent you guys messages that were not exactly correct. I'm not dead. You're disbelief. I'm incapacitated, but I'm not dead. Hope you're doing well. I don't know where you are. I don't have a clue what you're doing. Actually, I don't even care.
You get these emails saying he's been knocked overboard and drowned, and even a picture of him on board ship. And then 2 weeks later, you get a phone call from him saying he's not dead?
It's a miracle that I just didn't have a total meltdown or a heart attack or something. And I believe within my heart and my soul, and I still do to this day, that he crafted that entire scenario so that he would not, if this case ever went to court, that he would not have to appear in court.
So, Todd's not dead. He's alive, and he's here to explain himself about all of this when we come back. Why did you lie? Why did you add to the story?
Everyone has their breaking point, and you reach that wall.
Did you want him to spend 10 months in jail?
No, I never knew that it
Are you glad he did now that you know he did?
No,
Do you think he deserved it?
no.
Well, that was Deborah, who you may remember from our show about revenge. Now, her husband Todd spent nearly a year in jail, 282 days. And because of that, Todd said he wanted revenge against her. I said, no, you don't. Don't go there. Don't do this. You two need to get away from each other. He didn't listen, and he got his revenge. She was thrown in jail after the show.
4 days after we returned, there was a physical altercation. I pulled out the phone. I was going to call 911. She grabs the phone. I leave the home. I go up the street. Somehow I got scratched or cut or something like that. I didn't really notice it, and I flagged down this police officer, and once they saw the cut on my arm and the blood, they wanted to know where the address was. They took it from there. Boom, they were in there like cops, and it freaked me out. They had her down, they had the guns pulled and all kinds of crazy bananas things. I mean, it was unbelievable. It's not something you wish on anyone, and she deserved it to a degree, but not how they did it. When I saw her in the jail suit, in the cuffs and all that, for a brief moment, there was a little bit of satisfaction. It's kind of a karma thing. Kind of get what you deserve, but because she had assaulted me before. It's not like this was a one-time thing. The judge put Deborah and I under a no-contact order. This is where I sought revenge. I took the television, a DVD player, and all her goofy romantic comedy movies, and I pawned them. I wanted her to experience some loss, because she cost me my freedom. She took away all of my personal belongings. It did feel good. That felt good.
Well, in the last segment, Deborah said she got texts and emails saying that her husband, Todd, died. But he's not dead. He is alive, and he's here today, and I'm going to have Todd join us now. Todd, please, come on out. How you doing, man?
Fine, how are you, sir?
Okay, you wanted revenge, and you got it.
I did.
Did you do it by design?
Yes, I'd have to say I did.
You're here voluntarily, right? We didn't kidnap you and bring you here. And you want to be here.
I do.
And you know I ask hard questions.
I'm prepared.
I just want you to tell me the truth. I mean, I assume you came here prepared to tell me the truth because you know I'm going to ask.
Yes, sir.
Do you want this drama in your life? No. Do you?
No, sir.
Now, you have not seen him since the night you were arrested. How do you feel looking at him now?
I can't look at him. I don't want to look at him.
When you say you did do this by design, did you fabricate the story to the police?
I did.
Okay, but you filed a false police report to get her arrested. Is that okay in South Carolina? Because I got to tell you, in Texas where I'm from and in California where we are, the police take a real dim view of getting jerked around with people filing false police reports, because when they're over there jacking with you, then somebody who really does need help is not being attended to.
What, she didn't attack me. I'll concur with what she said. She did not attack me with a knife or anything like that. We had an altercation over the telephone. All of my personal belongings were still in North Carolina.
How'd the blood get on you?
I had a scratch on my arm. I didn't even notice it. The police officer noticed the scratch. I mean, it was probably an inch inch and a half, 2 inches
But
long.
here's what this says. Defendant did cut victim on the arm with a knife, causing painful injury. So you told them that. You
Once-
said she pulled a knife on me and cut me, and you need to stormtroop the house, put her in shackles. When somebody is committed a violent act with a weapon, they're going to take it seriously because they don't want to get cut.
He's the one that really noticed it because I was very angry and I was walking down
I
the
don't
street.
care who noticed it. I care who reported it. When he said, you got a scratch
Once it
on
was
your arm, you
noted-
said, well, she cut me with a knife.
Once he noticed it, I did. I told a lie.
Am I in the twilight zone?
That's what I feel like I've been in for
Okay,
the past
but-
6 months.
Okay,
is in the
but before you
twilight
get
zone.
too self-righteous and sanctimonious, you called him over at your house and told him that he hit, kicked, and punched you, and he spent 282 days in
But
jail.
he did physically assault me. There's a big difference here in the two situations, Dr. Phil. I did not make that up.
But you made up that he hit you and punched you and kicked you.
I was led by the police to embellish the story.
Okay, it's their fault. Okay, look, all right, come on. Now, and then you say she pulled a knife on you. Honestly, do y'all not have anything to do?
It was wrong, you know.
Was it fair that you spent the night in jail?
No, not based on a total fabricated lie that was intentional to hurt me and destroy my life. No.
Right. All right, well, then Todd sent this email. Bottom line, you are a nationally televised liar. You have zero credibility. You have no heart or soul. You will be 60 years old in 8 years. Your marketability is about over. Think about it.
Yeah. That's hurtful.
You're kind of all...
Oh, it's all over the board. I've told your staff that. I mean, my feelings were very conflicted and up in the air with her.
All right, well, Deborah received a photograph of Todd on the fishing boat before he was supposedly knocked overboard and drowned. We're going to hear about that when we come back. We're talking with Deborah and her husband, Todd, who were on a previous show about revenge. And on that show, I said that I thought that y'all were very nice people individually. You don't mix well, right? I mean, are you a nice person?
I'm a very nice
Do
person.
you have good friends?
Yes.
Are you a nice person?
Generally, I think I am.
Well, Deborah says that Todd plotted revenge against her the entire time he was in jail, got back at her by having her arrested for assault. Todd has now said, yes, I filed a false police report. Well, a few weeks later, Deborah was told Todd was dead.
After I moved out, I did do a brief stint with a company in Alaska. Worked on a processing boat. It's not glamorous. It's hard. You're talking about 16, 18-hour days.
I have no idea where Todd went after he moved out, but he called and told me that he had gotten a job with a commercial fishing operation in Alaska, working on one of the boats. I really didn't care. I didn't want him to be calling me. The 12th or 13th of December, I received a text message that said that he had passed away, and it gave the date and the time, and that my cell phone number was given to contact to send his belongings to. I replied and I said, I think that it is very cruel and unusual that a wife would be notified of her husband's death via a text message and not a phone call. Why am I not getting a call from an official somewhere? I became frustrated and thinking it's a never-ending saga with Todd. Absolutely.
I was actually on the dock, and one of those big square pod things that kind of squashed me. Got hurt, was in the hospital 3 days.
I got clarity that Todd was not dead when he called me and told me he wasn't dead.
I said, Deborah, there's been a misunderstanding. You know, nothing happened to me. I got hurt, but everything's fine.
I just became completely and totally incensed. It was all planned.
Okay, now, I've watched Deadliest Catch a number of times. Out of all the jobs in the world, why do you want to work on a crab boat? That just seems like a terrible job to do.
Well, I actually wasn't on an actual boat. There was a gentleman there, and I'm funny about that. I wanted my contact information given in case anything happens. I left Deborah's, of course, you know, we're married, so I left her contact information, email, telephone number. I left
To JF.
to Josie, yes.
Yeah.
And
Well, the initials were JF.
and I left. I think I left her mother's name and number. I left a former employer.
Okay. Well, he sent this picture. Can I have the picture up? He sent this picture, and he says, "That's you, second from the left."
No, that's not me.
And this was in December. We actually found this picture. It was posted on a Ukrainian website in May of '09.
Yes. Yeah, I have no
not
answer
funny.
for that.
No, that was posted on a Ukrainian website in May of '09.
It's not
Wow.
funny.
This took place 7 months before he supposedly was this guy.
Yeah.
And you went up there November 26th, right?
Around the end of November. It was right around Thanksgiving. I think
It was November 26th. I mean, that's when you sent the last email to her saying,
Yeah.
it's either because I'm feeling nostalgic because of the holidays,
Correct.
or that I'm leaving tonight.
I was up and down.
That was on the 26th, and then you left and went to Dutch Harbor.
Correct.
And started this job. Now,
I wasn't there very long.
did you fake your death?
No, I did not.
How long did you work up there? You were in the hospital 3 days.
Yeah, it was a few weeks. I mean, it wasn't. I didn't even complete it's usually about a 2.5 to 3 month stint.
Yeah.
I didn't even complete it. I came back to South
But you
Carolina.
got there on the 26th of November, and you
Somewhere around that.
were hurt on the 11th of December.
Just minor. I was in and out of the hospital. When
Well, you told her you were incapacitated when you clarified that you weren't dead.
Yeah. When I found out what he had done, I couldn't get a hold of this guy again. It was basically just contact information.
How'd you get there?
Took a bus ticket, a bus to Seattle, and they flew me up there. It's about 800 miles north of Anchorage.
So how'd you get back?
I had a plane ticket.
So you flew back where?
I think I came back into Seattle, and then, of course, came back to South Carolina.
Well, you rode the bus? You told our producers you rode the bus.
Yes, I did, back from Seattle.
But you flew to Seattle and then rode the bus back.
No, took a bus trip out there. Then they have to fly you because there's no bus routes that go into up that far.
You took a bus ticket. You took a bus ride where?
To Seattle.
Were you in Alaska?
Yeah, absolutely. I was in Alaska.
And
And
you worked
there's a
up there for
possibility
free?
I
I'm
might
just-
go back.
Listen, I'm just asking you
know.
to be honest here, because do you think he was in Alaska?
I have no idea. I've doubted. I mean, how can I think anything based on everything that's occurred?
Was Todd even in Alaska on a fishing boat? We're going to find out the answer to that when we come back. Closed captioning provided by Do you remember borrowing $160 from your boss
I do.
in 2 checks, one for $100 and one for $60?
I think so. It was like 100. I thought he wrote one for.
I got the checks here.
Okay.
He wrote one for 100, and he wrote one for 60.
Okay.
I also have the back of the check here that has your endorsement on it, and it says it was deposited in the bank on the 10th of December in South Carolina.
Okay.
Now, how can you sign this check? It's dated on the 8th, so you got it on the 8th. You deposited it on the 10th. I've got the bank stamp with your signature right here. How could you be in South Carolina depositing this man's check if you're getting killed up in Alaska?
I didn't fake it. I mean, misinformation was given. I
There's no
understand.
misinformation here.
No, there's
This
no
is the bank-
misinformation there.
Is this the check?
That's
And he gave that to you on the 8th.
that is the check. Okay.
You deposited it here. The bank stamp is on the 10th. How could you
sounds
be
right.
in? How could you be in Carolina on the 8th
Apparently I wasn't.
when he's giving you a check and you're depositing it on the 10th when you're doing 3 days in the hospital on the 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, there's no way around it. You know, and I came here.
So you weren't in Alaska.
Eventually, yes.
Come
but
on,
not
let's tell
you
the
know,
Let's just tell the truth
I am. I came
here.
here to tell the truth.
Well,
Dr.
then
Phil.
let's get to it. Because here's another check for $100, and it's deposited at the same time.
Yeah.
Here's a letter you wrote to a friend, and that's your writing right there. And this is the postmark in South Carolina on the 11th of December. You posted a letter out of South Carolina on the 11th of December when you supposedly are getting crushed by a crab pot. You weren't in Alaska. Todd, come on.
She's right.
You were never in Alaska.
No, sir. She hit it right on the head. No, I was nervous about the charges and everything that was going on with her court case.
Okay, so you did fake your death.
I didn't want to go to that extreme. He kind of took that on his own, but
You knew that he was writing her and telling her you were dead.
I didn't want her to know anywhere where I was, and it was extreme and totally irrational, and she's exactly right.
Because you understand, we got a picture here that was downloaded from the internet from a Ukrainian website posted in May of '09.
Yes, sir.
We've got letters from JF to her telling her that you got crushed by a crab pot, knocked overboard, and drowned. Then you say, actually, no, I wasn't drowned. I was just incapacitated. I spent 3 days in the hospital. You didn't spend 3 days in the hospital because we've talked to the hospital and you were never there. You can't work on a processing boat in a fishery up there without a license, and we've talked to the Alaska wildlife people. You never got a license. You couldn't work there. We've talked to your boss that said you worked for him in that entire time. We've talked to the woman you're renting a room from that says you never left. So all of this time this was going on, he was around the corner at somebody else's house sending you Ukrainian boat pictures reporting his death. Now, let me ask you something.
Shoot.
We started this interview with me saying, let's be honest.
Yes, you're right.
And you said, yes,
It's
sir.
embarrassing,
You
Dr.
said,
Phil.
yes, sir, I came here to be honest. And I said, you know I'm going to get to the
It's
bottom.
just embarrassing.
Because you know I do my homework.
I know
I've
you do.
given you a tenth of what I got. I knew you were never in Alaska. I knew you were never knocked off by a crab pot. I knew that all of this is a bunch of crap. And I asked you, I pleaded with you when you came out here.
did.
I said, tell me the truth.
That part's embarrassing, and that's hard to swallow and say. It's just totally embarrassing. And it's hard to sit out here in front of all these people and say you did something so totally irrational that now I can't even believe that I was a part of.
We have to take a break. Bottom line, will Todd admit whether or not he faked his own death? Closed captioning provided by You've been to this show before,
Yes, sir.
and you heard me cross-examine her.
Yes, I did.
You know I am like a dog with a bone. I am going to ask the questions till I get the answers,
Yes, sir.
and I'm going to do my homework because
sir.
I think you deserve the truth.
She does.
You wanted the truth, right? And my commitment was to get you the truth.
Thank you.
How do you feel about this?
I'm emotionally crippled and devastated. I'm just devastated.
But my question for you is, you've been here, you know me, and are you that arrogant that
No,
you think
embarrassed.
you're going to come out here and bull me?
No, absolutely not. Not at all.
Really? This is
Embarrassed. Just embarrassed.
But this is just for me. You walked down that runway right there and thought, that big old dumb boy.
No, I knew enough about, in the dialogue I had with your staff and the bullet points they were hitting, I figured that this was going to happen and come out. It was just embarrassing. I'm not trying to pull the wool over your eyes or anything. It's just embarrassing, and it's hard to come out and say it in front of all these people in America that I was a part of something that was that ridiculous and crazy.
Well, let's just go whole hog. You faked your death.
Yes, sir.
I
I
mean,
was
it
part
ain't
of it.
JF ran amok here.
No.
You faked your death.
I didn't want her to know where I was, absolutely. Yes, sir.
So you faked your death.
Yes. And I lied about the police report, and I've since called the district attorney's office and asked the charges be dropped.
Is there a JF, or is that just your screen name?
No, I don't have a screen name. There was somebody, there was a guy that actually sent these things. I didn't want it to be traced to anything to do with me.
You told him what to write. He
I
said
did.
it.
Yes, sir. And I wanted to hurt her. Instead of working with her to try to save our marriage and do things that we had agreed that we would do, I turned my back on her and tried to hurt her.
You destroyed it. Now
Well-
you're living with a woman at the beach.
You wanted to...
No. She's,
While we're still married, you're living with a woman at the beach. On top of it, it's not bad
She's
enough
an-
that I have to deal with all this other
Deborah, I'm
crap
not in
that you've fabricated and lied about. Now, on top of the emotional devastation, I have to deal with the fact that you're living with another woman while we're still married.
Deborah.
Where does it stop with you, Todd? Where does it stop? Where does it end with you?
I'm renting a room. She's an older lady.
Yeah,
We're not
right.
boyfriend, girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to believe this because why?
You don't have to believe it, but his staff clarified that.
I tell you what, we got this email from Todd's current roommate, Carol. I have a roommate who was recently on your show. He is still fixated with his wife. He told me today that he still loves her. He has hurt me financially by not paying his rent. I no longer feel that I can trust or believe anything he says to me. I don't know whether he has a romantic relationship with her or he's just renting a room. I don't know, but I do know she's on the phone. And we can ask her. Carol, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, Carol, have you been listening to all this?
I have.
What'd you want to say?
I'm very upset that I even let this man into my home after everything that I have found out about him. He's nothing but a habitual liar. He has owed me money from the day he came into my home. I felt sympathy for him. I allowed him to come into my home with no money.
Have you had a romantic relationship with this man?
No.
So this isn't a sexual...
This is strictly a roommate situation. Because of Todd not paying his bills and my landlord taking the last straw and saying, I can't keep believing your promises of when you're going to pay because Todd has not kept his promises.
Well, I'm so sorry that has happened to you. Is she telling the truth if you failed to pay her?
I have failed to pay her on time, absolutely.
Well,
I've switched jobs twice, and she's right. There were
four
two
times. He's had 4 jobs since he's been here.
No, I haven't. I've only had 3.
Well, Carol.
Jeremy, Monster, the one that you had for 2 days, and the one that you have currently.
Absolutely. Confused and self-destructive and reckless behavior. I admit to that. And she experienced that. Like I said, I wasn't there for her. You know, I should have acted totally different. And these things, I'm glad they're coming out. You know, I don't know how many more you got in your stack, but...
Oh, my gosh, I got a deck here.
Yeah, well...
I have one here from your childhood friend, Marco. I have one here from a coworker. I have a childhood friend. I have people that... millions of people watch this show, and people have seen you and said, you know, I want you to know the truth about this man because he's victimized me along the way.
Yeah.
So how does Todd feel about revenge now? You said you wanted to hurt this woman. Look her in the eye. So just how rich is the reward?
Looking at her now is totally, it's devastating.
Well, you wanted revenge, and you got it.
That's not what I want.
You made her think you were dead and hurt her in that way. It starts a grieving process when you think somebody's dead. You wanted her locked up. They stormtrooped the house. They put her in shackles.
They did.
They put her in an orange jumpsuit. They put her in a cell with a bunk and a commode. They treated you like a criminal, right?
I can never take that back. But hurting her and seeing this anguish in her face and
You don't have any idea of my anguish.
I don't.
How dare you sit there and even remotely think that you know about my anguish and what I've been through for the last 6 months. I was kicked out of my house. I lost my job. I had to move in with my mother and sleep on the couch for 5 months because I had nowhere to go. I had to put everything I own in storage to the tune of $500 a month when I'm unemployed. I had to pay a lawyer $4,000 to represent me. And if it went to trial, it was going to be $15,000. My family doesn't have that kind of money. I don't have that kind of money. You don't even have an iota of what you have put me through. And how dare you sit there and be so braggadocious, oh, I'm so sorry for what I did. I will never be able to have a relationship again because of you. I will never be able to trust anybody again because of you. You have emotionally devastated me. You don't even have a clue.
I don't.
So don't sit there and say, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry.
Well, I am sorry,
Because,
Deborah.
no.
I
don't
sorry.
accept that.
I don't
Not
expect
one
you
single
will.
bit.
I don't
Not
anticipate.
one single bit, and I never will.
I know you won't. I know you. You're not going to accept it.
And I know you. And now so does everybody else.
She's right.
Look, this is so outrageous. I have a hard time finding the words to express the dysfunction in this relationship. One of the things I said from the minute I ever stepped on the Oprah show 13 years ago, I had one commitment, and that was when I got through talking, I didn't think people ought to have to guess where I stand. And when you were here before, I said, shut it down, get out, move on. You are bad for one another. Do not do this. Do not play house. Do not drag it out. Do not try to get therapy and fix this. Move on, get out, go. Was I clear?
Yes.
But you decided, no, what's he know? I'm going to do what I want to do. And how did that work for you? Not well. What'd you want to say, and then we've got to go.
I just wanted to let her know before I walk off stage that I know she'll never forgive me. I know you're right. We have to move on. It's not going to be in the same direction. I came here so I could look her directly in the eyes and tell her that Deborah, I am truly sorry that I hurt you and that I drug you through all of this and that I didn't spend my time more productively in making a positive relationship and taking care of you like I promised to do in front of God's eyes, and I didn't. I totally let you down, and I'm truly sorry with all of my heart. Believe it or not, I do have one, that I did let you down. I don't want to hurt you. I only wish happiness and health and good things for you throughout your life. I know I'll never lay eyes on you again after I walk off this stage. But I always wish good things for you, and I'm sorry about everything.
We'll be right back. Closed captioning provided by... Well, I want to thank all the people who wrote into the show today to help us get to the truth. As I say, I got all these emails, and we solicited none of them. They just came, and I thank Carol for being on the phone and certainly wish her the best. Now that you've seen Todd and Deborah's story, do you still think revenge is a good idea? I mean, I asked you at the top, don't you? You've heard that, you know, don't get mad, get even, and you go, oh, yeah, boy, yeah. It doesn't work, does it? I mean, you never know the ways that it's going to come back and bite you. So when you get into that tit for tat, it just never stops. Like, you get me, then I'll get you. Well, then I'll get you worse. That's how people wind up getting their lives destroyed, their careers destroyed. And if there are children involved and they get caught in the middle of that crossfire, don't do that. Don't go there. I hope this has been a good lesson about revenge. Now, I want you to go to drphil.com, and if you're stuck in a revenge battle and you want to tell us your story, you better come prepared to tell me the truth. Because we're going to talk about the truth. Thanks for being here. So long.